Yes. Welcome back to another edition of Go Long Live. I am your boy, Barry Long, the second, not the first, not the third. I am the second. Of course, we got your boy, Mo Murphy. He's going to be joining us here shortly. And we got a special guest, maybe, Wade. And we'll call it Wade Wednesdays. He'll be here each and every Wednesday filling in. As soon as we get him plugged in, we'll bring him in the show. But let me add my main man with no further ado. This is the guy who is here each and every single Monday through Friday at noon 30 right here on CoachellaValley.com on Go Long Live. Mo Murphy, what's going on, boss? How you doing?
Yo, what's good, bro? You all right?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, you all right? I'm doing great, man.
I'm good, bro.
So we are live on CoachellaValley.com. We are also live on Today'sCalifornia.com. We are live all over the Twitterverse, the Metaverse, the Universe, you name it. We are live there. First of all, I just want to start out with some news. Just jumping forward real quick. Just some California news because we're on Today's California as well and Today's Canada. But this is some news that's coming out of Coachella Valley right here where we are located. Coachella Valley is now not an NHL team, an NHL affiliated team, AHL team, and it will be called the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and that is a new logo for the minor league hockey team that will be out here in the Coachella Valley. Mo, how do you like that logo?
Man, that junk trash, but whatever.
That's terrible, man. How you gonna say that, man? That's terrible. I actually like it, like breathing fire a little bit. But yeah, man. So it's gonna be the affiliate to the Seattle Kraken. That's the newest team. The Kraken have a dope logo. But the Firebirds will be out here at Coachella Valley. They're beginning in late 2022. So that should be exciting. They're gonna have more than just hockey in that arena. They're gonna have some concerts. They're gonna have Disney on Ice. It's gonna be an exciting thing for the Coachella Valley. Now, also something that I saw yesterday. This is a wonderful article that was written on CoachellaValley.com. Please go to CoachellaValley.com on your web browser, or you can go on Coachella Valley and find it in the Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. But it's a Staples Center is now going to be called Crypto.com next year. All right, so I was looking up, just to see how much money this thing is going to cost them to sponsor Staples Center, and it's actually going to cost them $700 million, which is a historically rich deal for any kind of sponsorship. My whole life, I always dreamed of sitting courtside at Staples Center. Now I realize that my whole life I dreamed sitting courtside at the Crypto.com Center. But it's home to the Los Angeles Kings, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Sparks. So it will now be the home to the Clippers for the next 3 years. The Clippers have their lease is going to end up in 2024. They will move over to a big arena that Steve Ballmer is building in Inglewood. So it should be exciting, man. How do you feel about the name Crypto.com being placed on that arena? Because everybody's had their head in the sand when it comes to this cryptocurrency. People been trying to tell me about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and I have my head in the sand. I think now I'm about to pull my head out of the sand, and next paycheck, we about to buy some crypto coins. How do you feel about this, though?
Man, that's the Staples Center, man. Stop playing.
It's always gonna be the Staples Center.
It's always gonna be the Staples Center, bro. It's been the Staples Center since '99. Bro, I was born in '95, so my whole life, you know what I'm saying. For what I know, is the Staples Center, and hey. The last we heard, Kobe called it the Staples Center. It won't be referred to nothing else on this end.
For sure, man. Like, yeah, a lot of people are gonna feel like it's not the same. But I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have some pretty cool, just features and stuff, pretty cool shows and pretty cool things, additions that they're gonna add to the stadium. Especially with that logo on the court, it's gonna look nice, man. Crypto.com. It's like crypto is here, and they might be here to stay. And I'm, for one, am excited about it. Now, we have a few different things that we're going to talk about today regarding sports. We're going to get into some of these NFL games that we weren't able to get into yesterday. Mo Murphy and I went through a number of these games. We're also going to talk about Mac Jones because Mac Jones, Mac Jones, he might be the truth. So we're going to talk about him. But without any further ado, let's bring in my main man, A. Wade. What's going on, A. Wade?
Oh, what's going on, fellas? What's going on?
Not much, man. So, hey, Wade, joining us live. Where you from? Where you at? Tell everybody where you at, man.
Oh, I'm out here in Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
So we got California in the house. We got my main man, Mo Murphy. He's out there in Texas. And we got my man in North Carolina. That's a beautiful thing.
Just like Cam Newton said, I'm back. I'm back.
Well, we are live. This is Go Long Live. I am Barry Long the second. That's Mo Murphy in the middle. You see my man A Wade on the back. We're calling this Wade Wednesdays. So hashtag Wade Wednesdays. But let's get into these games that we didn't get into yesterday. I wanted to first talk about this Patriots game because the Patriots, they really impressed me. And they beat the brakes off of the Cleveland Browns. And we didn't think that the Cleveland Browns were going to have such a terrible game. I, for one, didn't think that they were going to lose this game, but they lost 45-7. Mac Jones becomes the first rookie in New England history with three passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Baker Mayfield looked like trash. And I'm not ready to just throw Baker Mayfield to the wayside because at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield is up for a contract next year. Now, Cleveland could do one or two things. They could decide or they could do one of three things. They could decide to pay that man and keep him for the long term. They could decide to franchise tag him and give him another tryout year, or they could decide to move on. Now, I'm not ready to move on from him yet, but Mo Murphy, what are you ready to do? Because I know you are.
Bro, bye. Baker, bro, stop. Bro, Baker, and he's banged up or whatever, so he's going to play his 5th year in Cleveland, and that's going to be his real, prove it year. But they could even franchise tag him. I doubt they'll want to do that. It comes to a certain point. You don't want to spend your 7 years on a quarterback when he got to prove year in and year out that he's the guy. And come to find out he's not the guy. He's year 4, he's not the guy. Year 5, he's not the guy. What make you think in year 6, year 7, he's the guy? So I think you got to move on. I think you got to entertain. Who knows? We keep hearing Russell Wilson. I doubt you get no Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. I don't think nobody just is yeah, I'm going to go to Cleveland. Nobody does that.
Really? With that roster?
No, bro. It doesn't matter. It's Cleveland. It's Cleveland. Russell Wilson, Sierra not letting that happen.
She's not going.
Aaron Rodgers not going from Green Bay to Cleveland. And Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. He's not leaving Houston to go to Cleveland. He already said he's trying to go to Miami. So I know.
Shout out to anybody who might be from Cleveland.
Yeah, so nobody goes to Cleveland. You ever went on vacation to Cleveland? No, you haven't, because it goes vacation on Cleveland. So either you keep Baker or you look for another guy in the draft. Somebody replace him. The draft class is kind of trash this year anyway, so you might actually get a pretty decent quarterback in the first round. But man, it's time to let go of Baker, man.
All right, now Wade, what do you feel about Baker Mayfield and his this conundrum that Cleveland is under because they have to figure out what they're going to do with him?
Baker Mayfield, he's one of those guys. He's up and down. He can show you a lot of things at one point, but then 2 weeks later, he looks like Bush's baked beans, man. He's trash out there. I feel like he tries to do too much at times, and then also I feel like he's also just not developed as far as they would have liked, at this point. So I don't see giving him 40 mil, 35 mil, nothing like that. I'd say if you are going to pay him, then you pay him like an average quarterback, maybe like a Kirk Cousins type. But
he's making enough money in advertisements. He's making enough money in endorsements from Progressive to kind of make up for some of that money that he might lose in the contract. But seriously, I'm not giving him $35 million.
I got Progressive. I got Progressive.
Bro, players don't do that. I know everybody says that. Y'all players don't take pay cuts because they make up for it in endorsements. Losing $20 million is losing $20 million. You ain't making up for it, losing it in endorsements because you getting that endorsement money. So Baker ain't going to be like, well, Progressive taking care of me, so I'm going to sign a shoe deal with Reebok, so I should be good. Losing 20, 30, 40 million on the table is 20, 30, 40 million on the table. Them endorsements don't matter to them players, bro. When it comes to negotiating for the contract, they are not going to let some team owner say, well, you do make $20 million. Don't count my pockets on anything.
Right.
My job is to set a price, and I'm not accepting. They have to decide to accept less. So I do hate when people say, yeah, he's making it up in endorsements. No, it's not. When you throw $20 million in the contract away, you ain't getting it back no matter what. You'll always be $20 million short of what you could have been.
Right. Well, who's going to pay him that 20 mil?
Yeah, who going to pay him that extra 20 mil that he's giving up or not taking?
All right, guys. Well, you might be right. We'll see. If they decide to pay him or not. But that is a decision that the Cleveland Browns are going to have to make, and they're going to have to make it pretty soon. And they made a decision on your boy Odell Beckham Jr. Got him out of there, but they need to definitely figure out what they're going to do. Now, let's also talk about some of these other games that we went to or that we saw the other day. one game that and one game in particular that we didn't get to is the Bills and the Jets. Now the Bills killed the Jets 45-17, most points that the Bills have scored since 1979. So it was an impressive performance. The Bills have laid some eggs this year. They laid an egg against the Jaguars, lost 6-3. Couldn't even put up more than 3 points on them boys down in Duval County. So we saw them come out with an explosive performance. We saw a terrible performance by Mike White. Mike White. But Mike White threw 4 interceptions. He looked like trash. He looked average. He is what he is. He had a great game the first game that he came out. The second game kind of messed up in the beginning and then got injured, was unable to return. But then we saw him look like Mike White, and he threw 4 interceptions. Now, Wade, what did you think about the Bills' performance, and should they still be considered a top team in the AFC and a threat to make it to the Super Bowl?
I mean, as long as you got someone like Josh Allen back there, you're going to be a threat, to win a lot of games and to go far. But I think every team that's really good needs a week or two where they look like complete garbage, especially like going into if you're going to make a deep run. I still think the Bills are a contender in the AFC. The defense the defense looks good, but not as good as they need to make a deep run. Especially with the Chiefs coming on. The Chiefs are looking real good last 2 weeks, and we'll see how they do this weekend against Dallas, which I'm really looking forward to. But I think between the Chiefs and between the Bills, and you can sprinkle in Tennessee in there, those are the top tier of the AFC.
And Baltimore, don't forget.
Ain't nobody saying that.
What do you think, Mo Murphy, about the Bills? Their impressive win against the Jets, 45-17. Are they still contenders?
There's no such thing as an impressive win against the Jets. All right, no such thing as an impressive win against the Jets. Being one of the best teams in the NFL did what one of the best teams in the NFL are supposed to do against the New York Jets. That's exactly what happened. But like you said, they got Josh Allen. So at the end of the day, you're secure. I feel like, if games come into a shootout, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen versus Ryan Tannehill, whatever way the coin flips on whatever matchup you got, like you can trust Josh Allen to get with or beat any of those guys. So I mean the Bills, they're still going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. I still think they should be the favorite right now to come out the AFC with the balance. I mean the Titans, I don't know. It's tough because the Titans have impressed, especially with Derrick Henry going down, and they're 2-0 without Derrick Henry. No Julio Jones for the next couple of weeks, and they found a way to get it done. And probably should put the rest of the AFC on notice that the Titans ready. They got the recipe to really win. And I had said that earlier, but I think the Bills, they'll be fine. Like you said, you got to have a dud or two. You don't want to go in there with the pressure of being undefeated. You don't want to go in there with the pressure of only one loss. Like, you clear cut the best team in the league and Like, you want to go in there with somebody smack you in the mouth. You have to respond from that. Dallas, Kansas City, whoever, all the good teams have really got smacked in the mouth. Either Arizona got smacked in the mouth with Aaron Rodgers and none of his weapons playing, and they lost the game they were supposed to win. So,
including Baltimore, really good teams getting smacked in the mouth.
Stop throwing Baltimore. It's the second half of the season. They're going to phase out a little bit.
We'll see.
Baltimore will have about 6 losses. It'll be about 11-6 at best. They'll phase out a little bit, and then when it comes to the playoffs, like all that stuff that they've been doing, like that's dead. Like the loss of personnel is going to catch up to Baltimore in the playoffs. I'm just saying.
We'll see. Jan Manning says, "Go Buckeyes." We're obviously referring to my main man Mo Murphy's hat. And we are live on CoachellaValley.com, today's California.com, and we're also live on today's Canada.com, all over the Twitterverse. Please comment. We can pop your comments up. Now we're going to get into the next segment. It's called the most electrifying player of the week, brought to you by Palmer Electric. Please give Palmer Electric a call for all your commercial and your residential needs. They are located in Palm Desert, but their phone number is 760-797-7878. Holla at Larry and tell him B-Long sent you. But yeah, the most electrifying player of the week is none other than Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. Who?
Big Mac.
And if you didn't see Mo Murphy's expression, he's absolutely.
Bro, he didn't tell me that prior to the show. I just want to he didn't tell me that was why we were going to be talking about Mac Jones.
All right. Mac Jones, he was electrifying for me. It was not just mainly not his numbers, because obviously Pat Mahomes put up more numbers, put up more touchdowns. Pat Mahomes put up 5 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. But Mac Jones just impressed me, going 19 of 23 with 198 passing yards. Even Brian Hoyer got in on that, actually got a touchdown pass. But I was just impressed with what Mac Jones was able to do. And it was a great game, man, for him. And his ability to read coverages, his ability to decipher what is going on the field, to see what kind of pressure is coming, his decision making, his accuracy. I'm just impressed with what I've seen from Mac Jones, and I think it's time to start asking: is he the best quarterback of this draft class? Because we look at the other 3 that went ahead of him. You had Justin Fields. You also had you had Trey from Trey Lance, and then you also had Trevor Lawrence. And none of these guys combined have more wins than Mac Jones by himself. So when you look at what he's doing this year and the system that he was able to step into, kind of complex. A lot of these guys, the wide receivers that went there, weren't even able to learn the playbook that Josh McDaniels threw at them, like Chad Johnson. Some of these other guys that have come in late in the season. Cam Newton, they had to switch up the entire way that they play. So I'm sitting here like, really, like people treat, this guy like he was late in the second, third round or something. No, he was in the first round, and he was the 4th pick for the quarterbacks this year. But I honestly think that it's time to start thinking about whether or not he is the best quarterback out of this draft. What do you think, Mo Murphy?
First off, it is not time to think about that. Can we at least get through the first season? At least get through the year. And, then after we get through the year, can we wait like 2 to 3 years before we really start determining what quarterback draft? Like
so far. How about so far?
Yeah, because he's in the best position. He has Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator, and then he has Bill Belichick as his head coach. Yeah, he's in the best position.
Does he have the best weapons out of those 4 quarterbacks, though?
No, he doesn't have the best weapons, but he has the best.
Okay, then.
He put up 198 yards. Calm down, like he was electrifying. Put up 198 yards, bro.
Hey, that's still a pretty good pass rush, though, from the Cleveland
Browns.
That don't
impress me much. Like what should I say, boy? 198 don't impress me much.
Mo Murphy he
had enough with Mac Jones.
That is my guy. So wait, what do you think about the most electrifying player of the week, Mac Jones? Are you impressed with what you've seen so
far? Mac Jones had a great game, very solid game, efficient game. But like Mo was saying before, before he got disconnected, he's in the best position to be successful early. Belichick and Saban in Alabama, where Mac Jones played college football. They're best friends. They've been best friends for over 20 years. A lot of Alabama players have success in New England. So he's pretty much going from Nick Saban, college coach, to pretty much Nick Saban, NFL coach. Pretty much the same structure, under the same pressure. He just switched coaches and leveled up. So he's in a great position. All he has to do is not turn the ball over. And he's been great doing that, and he has a great running game behind him. He has 3 good running backs that can all pound the rock. And it takes a lot of pressure off him as a rookie quarterback when you got a good backfield behind you.
Absolutely. I don't like when people say pound the rock. I just don't know why. It just doesn't sound right to me. But Mac Jones, he is your most electrifying player of the week. And he is brought to you by Palmer Electric. Make sure you hit them up for all your electrician needs, commercially and residentially. 760-797-7878. Tell Larry that Barry sent you. And that is the most. So Mo, go ahead and tell us, continue with what you were saying about Mac Jones, because I mean, seriously, he's not the greatest quarterback in the world. He's not the greatest rookie we've ever seen, or to have the greatest rookie season. But he's stepping in with weapons that aren't considered top weapons. Jacoby Myers, I mean, he's got Hunter Henry, but he's got a little bit of a good running game. But Mac Jones has been playing wonderfully, and I think that in a couple of years we might be looking at him as the top quarterback in this draft.
No, you won't. He's been doing what's asked of him. That's all he's been doing. He's literally been doing what they ask of him. Throw to your running backs. You're lucky James White was out for the season, or else James White would be probably a top 5 running back this year as far as production, because he'd have 12 catches a game for 100-something yards. He'd be one of the lead receivers. He does what they ask him to do. 2 quality tight ends to catch passes. every once in a while, they ask him to throw the ball down the field, and he does it because there's no pressure on doing it. Josh McDaniels writes up the right play. But to say, like, he's the quarterback who got put in the best position. Look at all the coaches. Matt Nagy's a horrible play caller, and you got Justin Fields. You got freaking Trevor Lawrence. He's in Jacksonville. Like, that's just a bad organization, period.
Urban Liar.
Trey Lance is over there with Kyle Shanahan, but he's backing up Jimmy G, who's doing an adequate job. So you don't want to rush Trey Lance into having to be something he's not, or having to save an organization when he doesn't have to have that kind of pressure. You can put that pressure on Jimmy G, and then when it's time to bench Jimmy G, you do that. You put Trey Lance in if all else fails. So, and Zach Wilson's terrible. So, I'm on it, and Zach Wilson's just horrible.
Hey, if Mac Jones was in San Francisco, would he be starting over Jimmy G right now?
No, he would not.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
What?
Bro, why?
Mac Jones, who?
Why would he be starting over? Like, he's done nothing for me to say he would have took Jimmy G's starting spot. Like, unless they would have felt like Trey Lance got banged up. Maybe they felt like they should have benched Jimmy G already. But Mac Jones, bro, you gave him the most electrifying player in a week where we just watched a guy throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We watched Kirk Cousins play absolutely amazing against the Chargers defense. Dak Prescott and the whole offense, CeeDee Lamb went absolutely nuts against Atlanta's defense, which doesn't really matter. But I'm just saying, so many other performances, and we gave a guy who threw 199 yards the most electrifying. I knew he was going to talk Mac Jones, but I didn't know we was giving him an award and a shout out. Like, that's what got me.
All right, well
completion percentage, though.
This season, Mac Jones
has 13 because he checks down. Like, Dak, people used to kill Dak. People used to kill, and they called it Dak and Dunk. When they instead of thinking, they called it Dak and Dunk. He would always go to check downs before he had Amari Cooper. And then he got Amari Cooper so he could spread the field. Then you gave him Michael Gallup. Then now you got CeeDee Lamb. You're like, okay, Dak can throw down the field. Like, Mac Jones is going to have to prove that. He needs a receiver. I'll give him that. He's doing, but he has Josh McDaniels calling plays for him. Like, we saw how good when Cam Newton, he told us prior to the season, started, he said, I'm healthy. Cam Newton looked really, really good in the preseason.
Yeah,
Cam Newton was like 11 for 11, like almost 180 yards. Like, he looked really good because Josh McDaniels, and he had a whole year to get it acclimated to the system with no offseason. So, yes, Mac Jones is in the best position. And maybe he ends up being the most successful with having Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels for the long haul. But as far as, is he the better quarterback? I don't think so. Like, Justin Fields has gotten better every week.
Well,
Trevor Lawrence has had some decent performance. Zach Wilson's horrible, so he's already out of the conversation. We don't know what Trey Lance is going to be with Kyle Shanahan yet.
Well, what we do know is just to clarify something earlier, we were talking about Jimmy G versus Mac Jones. Mac Jones has a higher completion percentage this year. He's thrown about 400 more yards, 3 more touchdowns, and 2 more interceptions. So that's a valid question. We'll see, because Jimmy G really isn't hurt. Jimmy G's really
always
hurt
anything.
Though. He wins, and he didn't get them to the Super Bowl. That defense got them to the Super Bowl, and that running game. So
when the Patriots go to, if they get to the Super Bowl, you're going to tell me Mac Jones and that amazing offense.
Hell yeah.
That puts up like 18 points a game is the reason why they got to the Super Bowl.
When Jimmy G got them to the Super Bowl, I remember he threw like what?
Same recipe.
He had 8 passes in the NFC Championship
passes
game.
just in one game. Like, come on.
When Jimmy G got them to the Super Bowl, literally the recipe for success for New England this year is exactly what San Francisco was doing. Run the ball down teams' throats, run the play action, use your check downs and play defense. That's exactly what New England's doing, but you don't want to give credit for Jimmy G, but then you want to give all the credit and call Mac Jones the most electrifying player for a week. That's crazy. No, it's too early. He was set up for the most success in the rookie year anyway by being in New England. I said whoever ended up in New England was going to have the earliest success because you're going with Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels. Like, they're going to put you – they're not going to put you in a position to fail. I know that much. Whether it was Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, it didn't matter. Whoever fell to them, they was going to make sure they didn't fail. Because then that means Bill Belichick fails. That means Josh McDaniels fails. So that's all they doing is they putting him in the best position right now. But you don't watch Mac Jones, and yeah, he has a nice completion percentage. I would too, throwing 2 yards down the field. I'm just
and that's perfect what our comment says. Ragnar Lowbrook says, Mac Jones is only good for throwing checkdowns. That's what the Patriot system calls for, though. That's what Tom Brady did. He threw a lot of checkdowns, got the ball out of his hand quick. He had like the fastest time of getting the ball out of his hands by any quarterback in the league for like consecutive years. So it'll be interesting to see how these quarterbacks shake out, because it was a whole lot of them took it in the first round. And yeah, you ready to throw Zach Wilson out? He's another one. So we'll see. We'll see. In the next couple years, hopefully we're still doing the show and we can talk about which one was the best. But we are Go Long Live. I am Barry Long II. That is Wade in the middle, and that is my main man Mo Murphy on the other side, opposite side of me. Now, real quick, we're going to get into the Brooklyn Nets versus the Warriors, and the Warriors improved to 12-2 yesterday after beating the Brooklyn Nets at the Clays. That's what they call in the Barclays Center now. 117-99, and as you can see, they were pretty similar in a lot of the categories in the game. The game went to halftime with the Warriors leading by 4. The real story of that game was that third quarter. They came out 35-18 over the Nets, and Steph Curry continues to look like the favorite for MVP this season. Also, you had KD, who was also one of the favorites for MVP. But I just want to know what your takeaways were from that game last night, Mo Murphy, and are the Warriors considered the favorite to win the NBA Finals this year?
It's too early to be talking about favorites, but I mean, yeah, if we want to do that, then yes, the Warriors are the best team in basketball.
Are they good enough to win it all?
Yeah, they're good enough too. Yeah, they're good enough. I mean, Klay Thompson and James Wiseman not even back yet. Moses Moody ain't even really played a lot. Jonathan Kuminga just now starting to get his groove as a rookie. So you talk about how players get better in their organization. Look at Jordan Poole. Look at Damian Lee. So
I like Gary Payton. Gary Payton a second.
Yeah, he'll phase out too. He won't be a part of the rotation. He's a good player.
So confident.
No, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like eventually when you start preparing for the playoffs, 8 to 9 guys max get really your bench minutes, and so when you 3 to 4 guys get bench minutes. So when you start looking at him like he's real good now, but then Klay comes back, Wiseman comes back. Damian Lee and Poole are established. Who knows the development of Moses Moody and Kuminga? Like, they're all going to be scrapping for that 8th or 9th spot, that 3rd or 4th man in the rotation when we talk about playoffs. But, yeah, they're good enough to win it all. I've been on the Warriors prior to Klay Thompson coming back. Prior to the season starting, I was big on the Warriors and with just the projection of Klay Thompson coming back. So, yeah, they are good enough to win it all. Brooklyn's in a little bit of trouble. They're still one of the better teams in the East, but James Harden got to get it together. KD, not all his shots were falling, but he's Kevin Durant, bro. Like, him and Steph have been the 2 best players in basketball this year. So I'm not worried about Kevin Durant getting the job done. I'm worried about the rest of his teammates, and they need Kyrie. So that's going to be a big thing to watch out for the rest of the season. They need Kyrie. KD can't do it by himself. Even with James Harden, I don't know if that's going to be enough because you depending on Joe Harris, so we know what happens when the lights get big, but it's Steph Curry. Like, I don't know. Last night's game to me was all you could say at the end of that was, well, it's Steph Curry. I mean,
that's what he does.
Steph's going to do what Steph's going to do.
Yeah. Like,
so wait, what do you feel about the Warriors, especially when Klay comes back? You think they're going to win it all?
Yeah, actually, I do. I think if everyone can stay healthy, they got a deep enough roster with a young talent, a mix of young and veteran talent, that they can definitely make a run. I think Andre Iguodala coming back this year, leadership in the locker room, he was definitely a big piece of their little dynasty run before. So they got all the weapons, and if Klay comes back and they can all stay healthy, because Steph has a history of injury history, Klay, and so does Wiseman, and Wiseman's young and he's big, and big young guys get hurt a lot. So I don't think anyone can touch him. Inside, outside, defense. Steph's defense has been, the whole team's defense has been impressive this year. And even last year, they shut Durant down in the second half. My man only had 3 points in the whole second half, didn't make a field goal. So, they got all the weapons to do what they do, and if Steph Curry was here right now in this middle spot right here, they would think this was a family show because all 3 of y'all look alike.
Hey, it's crazy though. I mean, listen, I'm a huge fan of Steph Curry too, but I agree though. How can you count out Steph like?
I've had people tell me you don't look like Steph Curry. You look like his ugly little brother Seth. I've had people tell me that. But yeah, the Warriors definitely are looking really good. And when Klay gets back, oh my God, not only will that offense improve, but that defense will improve as well. Because Klay Thompson has been known to lock up some people on the outside. And you just hope that he's not, that he's the same kind of player. He can still have that off the ball movement the way that he did before his injuries. You hope that he's not limited in any capacity. But whether or not he is, The bench is really stepping up. The defense is looking great, and they're an exciting team to watch this year. So we are out of time. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, everybody for commenting in. Wade Wednesdays going to happen. Wade will be joining us, when he can. We appreciate you for joining us in, brother. Mo Murphy, where can they find you at online?
Yeah, you can find me at Upper Flames Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you go to offtheballnetwork.com too. Check out a whole bunch of great articles and stuff like that.
All right, Wade, where can they find you at online?
Nowhere. No online presence. Don't look me up.
He's off the grid.
You want to see me? Come here. Tune into the show. That's what I do.
And you can find me on Twitter at Radio Barry Long, or you can find me on IG at BarryLong_2. And remember, guys, hold up. Yeah, let's get this meme in real quick. My bad, I forgot about the meme. This is the meme of the day. The Carolina Panthers are currently paying Cam Newton's replacement, and for Cam Newton to replace his own replacement. That is true. They are paying all three of those guys' salaries right now. It's terrible. All right, remember, stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired. Remember, you are capable of doing anything. So go out and do it. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Peace.